Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, November 16th at 5 p.m. to order. Roll call starting on my left, please.
Capel here.
Minter here.
Jamadi here.
Barride here.
Certify the posting of the meeting, please.
I certify that on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, November 16th, 2023 was posted at the Rome Town Hall at 8:28 a.m., posted at Quick Trip LLC at 7:53 a.m., posted at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 8:35 a.m., emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 9:06 a.m.
Motion to approve the agenda, but I will request that when we do that, we had to schedule a certain appointment for approximately 5:15 with one of the outside councils. So we're going to time this kind of close here. I know we have some guests that are attending this evening from the Nakusa School District. So if we could move them up, I don't know how long your presentation's going to take, if you're just telling us some things quickly. So if you would, who's going to approve the agenda, we'll move up the school presentation, number 14, and then we'll do the closed session.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the agenda as written with the option of, well, with the moving item 14 up to
Item 9.
right after.
Before the
Yes,
closed
after-
session?
Before the no action, before the no actions.
No, before number 9.
Okay, before number 9.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second with that change.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Capel to adjust the agenda by moving 14 before number 9, second by Supervisor Cole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Pledge of Allegiance. Citizen comments. We have one orange card this evening, so I'll read item number 6. During the citizen comment period of the agenda, the town board welcomes comments from any town resident, not a member of the town board, and on any item not on the agenda. Please know that pursuant to state law, the board cannot engage in conversation with you, but may ask questions. The board may refer the item to staff, a standing committee, or a future board agenda for discussion and action. Each person wishing to speak will have up to 3 minutes to speak. Speakers are asked to submit a card to the clerk treasurer providing their name, address, and topic for discussion. The board will also take comment from the public on agenda items as called by the chair, but not during citizen comment. Please note that once the board begins discussion on the agenda item, no further comment will be allowed from the public on that issue. No action contemplated except possible further,
Stop.
oh, I'm sorry.
Orange card.
Oh, I'm sorry, orange card. Will Beckstrom from 1326 Apache Circle wants to speak on education.
Good evening. Will Beckstrom. I want to take this time to thank this board for their consistent inclusion of town residents in decision-making and information gathering. Particularly, I want to give a special recognition to Supervisor Cole for arranging tonight's visit from Nakusa School District. As some may or may not know, the town represents 68.7% of the assessed value of the district and is thus responsible for 68.7% of the total property tax assessment, or in the case of planned collections for 2024, a total of $9.42 million. While the town has a significant smaller percentage of school-aged children in the district, I believe it is time that this community begins to ask the tough questions about what we are getting for that level of financial outlay. Where do our schools rank with regard to state and national averages? Is the administration of the school district attentive to the education needs of our community, to the needs of the students, to the needs of the parents? Are citizens of Rome aware that busing for our children can vary from as long as an hour plus to just upwards of 30 minutes? Is this the best and most appropriate use of our children's time? I've shared with many in our community the challenges my family and I face with having twins, one who is neurotypical and one who is autistic. We have attempted in good faith to work with the district administration to try and elevate the offerings of the district, to meet their needs, to have our requests and discussions meet with deaf ears. As we all know, our town is growing, and a growing community needs a healthy and stable workforce. To meet those needs, it is a multi-part solution, one in which we must attract top talent and educate the children of that top talent. To continue our growth, the challenges of our education system must be addressed. We will not be able to bring new talent here, nor grow the existing talent, if we don't get the answers to the previously mentioned questions, along with making a change that takes this challenge head on. I leave you with one final question to ponder. What type of school district could the town of Rome have for $9.42 million if it were no longer a part of the Nacusa School District? Could we have the nation's best test scores, best educators, and so on? It's worth considering what we are getting and if it makes continued success to allow the status quo to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. No action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Number 7, informational updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondent, current events, and announcements. Starting on my left,
Nothing.
Supervisor Minter.
Oh, just a reminder that if you want information about the town and also about the NextEra Solar Project, there is a space at the town website that you can go to, and anything we know is posted there. That's romewi.com. And then for all your event needs and tourism is visitromewi.com. And then I just want to make mention that this is Jamie's final board meeting here tonight. She still is here, seeing us through this last board meeting, so just to thank her for that.
Yes, thank you, Jamie.
And I have a couple of comments. I want to thank her also for her 5 years of service. We have treats out in the hallway, so when we go into closed session, if you want to enjoy those treats on her behalf. And we wish her very well in her next endeavors up in Weston. It's quite a jump for her, so exciting times ahead. So thank you very much. And I also want to say, and piggyback on Supervisor Cole's comments, NextEra has promised to send us some additional information to questions that came up at the solar meeting. If I start talking fast, I'm just watching the clock because we moved up item number 14. We do have some questions and clarifications we'll be getting as we rewatch that tape, and some information that we will be putting out on the website and trying to get that updated to clarify a number of misinformation that is being posted out on social media that I don't watch but others are filling me in on, and we'll get clear information out to you shortly and as quickly as we can. I also want to say thank you to the Ryan Larson Post that put on a beautiful ceremony out at the Spring Branch Cemetery on Veterans Day. And they had a beautiful luncheon for the first time since COVID. Thank you to the Hometown Rome players. I'm sorry I get choked up because it was really quite lovely. For the first time in years, we had about 65 guests, Jamie. Mm-hmm. And Senator Van Orden was here, or Congressman Van Orden was here. Myself, Assemblyman Krug, and Senator Patrick Teston were all allowed to speak, and it was a very lovely day. So thank you to everyone, the Legion Post, the Auxiliary, and Chatterbox catered a beautiful, beautiful turkey luncheon, so thank you to everyone. And we also got a thank you from the Adams County Sheriff's Office for the canine support that we offered for the ride side by side with the sheriff. We donated a number of, baskets to the ride. I think it was also a thank you and support for the recent retiree of Laya, was the dog that retired. But we also got a thank you for the two that are still in service, our K9 Tekla and Lana. So that came in from the Adams County Sheriff's Department. So we'll move on quickly. Any questions from the supervisors?
Yeah,
Yes?
Madam Chairman. Tri-Lakes has submitted the lake condition report to the town board here, so we have that now. Also, our Tri-Lakes trial at the Arrowhead Lake Marina has concluded. The equipment has been removed. And we have scientific evidence that has been very, very successful, not only in oxygenating the water, but also in beginning to condition the lake bottom there, changing that from muck to a more harder surface. So we expect that to pay dividends going forward. We're also going to build from this nanobubble experience to come up with a plan to treat all 4 lakes, including bays and fingers, with nanobubble technology, and also perhaps a combination of that and alum treatment. So that plan is going under consideration right now, and we hope that by probably February we can conduct a members meeting to talk about the various options of this technology and helping cleaning up our lakes. It's the first positive thing that we've seen, and we hope that in the future we can get some adoption from our membership to fund that.
Okay, thank you. All right, and number 8, department and committee reports. Any questions? All right, discussion and possible action on the following items. We'll take number 14, please. Discussion, School District of Nacusa presentation provided by the Director of Business Services, Lynn Knight, and District Administrator, Dr. Nathan Black. Welcome.
Thank you. So because of the limited time.
I apologize.
Oh,
I
no,
thought
no,
we-
it's okay.
yeah.
It's all right. I would like to request to come back in the future to talk about
Absolutely.
the complexities of school finance. A lot of people simplify school finance, and it's a very complex situation that most folks don't understand. And I would love to educate them. So so I will just basically start in with what happened in 23-24 and the levy that's going to be assessed next year. So the town of Rome's property value increased by 38%. It's historic. Last year, the property value for the whole district, which consists of 5 municipalities, increased by 19%. What you are levied is based on property value. So, of course, you are going to be levied more. And there's a reason why the town of Rome is the major supplier of funding for the school district of Nacusa. And in future, I would love to discuss that and just kind of walk through that a little bit.
That would be great. And if you
Yeah.
could bring some slides like you did the
Sure.
last time. I know
Yeah.
when we talked in November and I originally invited you, we
It's
yeah.
no
Thank
problem
you.
at all.
You were right during budget time, so.
Well, and I love talking about this, so the more I
Yes.
can, the better. So the town of Rome's property value with the equalized value increased by 68% from last year. So the whole levy that the district assesses our 5 municipalities actually went down by 1.9%. But because the town of Rome's value increased by 38%, the levy for the town of Rome increased by 3%. So I'm just going to give you a little example. So we have, let's say the town of Rome has a home for $300,000. The mill rate last year was $9.71. So that particular family who owns that $300,000 home would have paid $2,913 to the levy for the school district. Okay? So this year, our mill rate went down to $7.25. So let's say that $300,000 home multiplied by the mill rate, it would be $2,175, which would be a decrease of $738. That's if the value of the home stayed the same. It didn't. So the $300,000 value of the home turned into $413,940. You take that, multiply it by the mill rate of $7.25, you're looking at $3,002, which is an increase of $88. So the moral of the story is, your property values increased so much that it just negated the levy decrease. That is the moral of the story. So now, why did the property values increase so much? I have no idea. Every single property value in our district increased, but the town of Rome was by far the most. We get the dollar amount from the Department of Revenue. And I would encourage the municipalities to research as to why your value increased so much. I don't have access to that information. That is probably going to be a question that taxpayers are going to ask. Why did our values increase so much? And I would love to know, but I can't get that information. So that is the moral of the story, and that's, I tried to go as quickly as I possibly could.
No, and if you're willing to stay, I
Yeah.
think we're gonna be a little bit, and then you could talk more. I'd be happy to have you come back.
Oh, that would be great.
Very much
Yes.
so.
Yes, and we are in the 4th year of our operating referendum. We have one more year, and we have kept all of our promises financially. We have not increased the amount per 100,000. Actually, in total, the first year we increased it by $4, which we promised that was the max. Next year was $3. Year 3, we decreased it by $9.70, or by $49. And in this year, we decreased it by $246. So we are way below what we promised, which is phenomenal. So I'm hoping that we can keep that up. But yes, I would love to come back to talk about it. I can even write a little article for the newsletter if you'd like. I would do anything to educate.
That would be great if you could provide some information
Sure.
for our website that we can share with
Oh,
our
sure.
citizens.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And come back and explain and give us
Yeah.
some documentation like you did last
Oh,
year.
sure.
That would be great.
Yes, I would love to do that.
And we
Lori.
do appreciate you coming and explaining some more to
Yeah.
us.
And I'd like
and
to
we
turn
can-
it over to Dr. Black to talk about the educational side.
Maybe we could do that after we come back.
Oh, sure.
That would be great if you're willing to stay.
Yep, that's no problem.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you very much. All right. The town board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat Section 19.85 sub 1 sub C or E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Conferring with Energy Legal Counsel, who is rendering advice to the governmental body concerning strategy on a proposed large-scale solar project. The board may continue into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat Section 19 sub 85 sub 1 sub C, considering employment promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, the fire chief's education status, and outside employment request. Take roll call vote, or motion to go into closed session, please.
I move to go in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85 sub 1 sub E.
I also need a motion, okay. Motion by Supervisor Capel to go into closed session for 19.85 sub 1 sub C or E. Second by Supervisor Minter. Roll call vote starting on my left.
Capel, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jumati, yes.
Oh, yes.
All right, yes.
Now I need a motion on 19.85 sub 1 sub C.
Move to continue in closed session per Wisconsin statute 1985 sub 1 sub C.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Supervisor Minter to move into, continue into closed session for section 19.85 sub 1 sub C. We have a second by Supervisor Bauerheit. Roll call vote starting on my left.
Capel, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jumati, yes.
Oh, yes.
All right, yes.
Okay, we'll go into closed session.
The board is gonna move into the other room for closed session. Just a friendly reminder that the mics stay live and the camera stays on in this room.
Really? Good. most of the way they're being spent doesn't fit.
So, I didn't know if you were gonna talk about that, cause you're so thorough on everything, but-
No, I wasn't. I'm thorough on things that interest, you know.
and I don't really get, well, whatever, I'm more interested in what happens with the fire chief, so. And then I gotta go play darts.
You gotta?
Gotta, it's position night
Where is it?
at Camelot.
Oh. I thought I had read that they had built a bridge for Cougar to go over with some of the ARPA funds.
Who?
California.
Oh, I was saying, not this county.
No,
Oh, that wouldn't fly at all.
so I'm not, if they're doing that for Cougar, I figure we can throw it on a narrow.
Well, there was a, did you see that, that weekly little newspaper thing that comes out on Wednesdays? Where they're gonna have to make some type of, considerations for that slimy little lizard
Oh,
or
the lizard?
something that, out of Sand Valley.
We had a friend that was building a house just over, just by Archer there. And they had to stop everything because they thought they saw one of those on their property.
I've seen a couple behind Tri-Lakes.
So they're not that rare then.
No, it's like a blue shimmery kind of little
Yeah.
lizard, but then in the paper, they had a picture of a snake, which made no sense, so, I don't know, but.
I had two of them on my deck this year.
I think it's isn't it a legless lizard? I think is what I heard before,
Oh,
which to me is a snake.
That probably very well could be, the one I was looking at behind Tri-Lakes building was, it was about, lizard about that long, kind of blue, and had like, almost like a fluorescent type blue, very shiny, and I thought that maybe was the lizard they were talking about.
I have a picture of it. I took a picture, it was sitting on my deck.
Can I see the picture?
Sure, I gotta find it.
It's called the slender glass lizard.
That's what it's called.
He's the bane of our existence.
That and that garter snake that
Oh,
stopped
yeah.
all construction down in New Berlin that one year.
Yep, well, then there was a turtle, I think was down in New Berlin or somewhere in that area too, that they had to put a tunnel over underneath
Yep.
the road so that the turtle could have a
Yep, free access.
free access to get wherever it was going.
Does the turtle know to use it for that?
Well, I
There's a sign.
thought there was a training class or something for
There's a
that.
sign, yeah. It says turtle crossing.
Yeah.
Why did they have the deer crossings right where it's real busy, really?
They probably had several accidents there and that's why they put the signs up.
Dawn asked me about a town man that I was talking with.
Yeah,
Do you want me to scrap all that information or?
no, you know, it can't hurt to get an estimate. That'd probably send me into shock, but it can't hurt.
Is that what you saw?
Yep.
In your bed?
Oh.
I don't know if that's it though.
Well,
Interesting. But it's blue and it's a little lizard.
oh, they're all over the place.
But they're rare.
Well, they're not rare at my house.
buy a house in Century Village.
Sounds like what you need to do is.
No, you can buy a lot.
process for 'em.
You can buy a lot.
Yeah,
Really didn't have problem selling those $1 million lots.
no,
Well, we do. They probably could have sold 3 times that.
I'm working on my status with Mr. Carabiner again.
You're not in the doghouse anymore?
He answers my phone calls now.
Did they go into closed session on both the items on the agenda? Okay. How many other, commissions are you on
in town here or overall?
overall,
Well,
including,
I've got the Police and Fire Commission here,
Here.
I chair that one.
um,
I got the Planning Commission, and then I got the County Board, and part of the County Board, I have the Property and Recreation Committee, and the Public Safety and Judiciary Committee. And then I bailiff and circuit court. On an as-needed basis, it's not like they have a trial every week. And I'm the chairman of the Adams County Crime Stopper group, and I think that's it. But, like you know, I'm slowly weeding myself off of things, and I am dead serious that you would make a good chair.
there are 3 other people too that would make a really good chair.
See, you're outvoted already. They're gonna vote for you, you know that.
I'm getting a bigger gavel.
Pretty sledgehammer.
Yeah. I'll have to gavel myself half the time.
But yeah, you would really do good. I'm totally serious. But you would be a good person for that. And the pay is outstanding.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I figured out the hours what I spend on the commission and everything, it probably breaks down to 27 cents an hour.
Okay, I believe that.
Something
I
like that.
totally believe that.
Yeah.
See, with the PSC, instead of the $30, I get 45, because I have to write my own reports and stuff,
Oh,
because I don't have a secretary,
ooh.
so.
I
yeah.
take the $15 and pay somebody to do it.
I have a secretary, and,
fair, yeah.
but he puts together the agenda and does the minutes, hopefully, because he's new. And then I have to do a report to the town board after each meeting. That's what we discussed, and where we're going, and, you know, all that kind of stuff, so.
Is Bean still in there?
No, he didn't seek reappointment this last spring. So we got a woman by the name of Karen Dingman. She has, I think, like 28 years EMS experience, and I think she worked part-time for Big Bend Police Department for a number of years. So yeah, she got appointed. I have one more year on that, well, year and a half on that one.
ordered a treadmill for you.
The treadmill? Oh,
I say I got tabbed to
Yes.
sub a Fayette class today, so I think my rings are actually way beyond where they normally are.
are they? Can you share some of them with me?
Well, I'd have to share,
Work that way.
I'd have to share the soreness too. I
Yeah.
gotta share that I'm not in
Oh.
the same shape as our Fayette teacher. They are different level. So, sitting feels kind of nice right now.
You know, they posted a video of you teaching that class, right?
Yes, I've seen that one before as I was going in the middle of it. We were doing it was part of the warm-up area, but the thing is, you gotta, if you're gonna bring energy to some, for students, you can't sit around waiting for them to bring it.
Yeah.
You gotta be a thermostat.
Lead
You're
by
not a
example,
thermometer,
right?
Just- Exactly. And they were buying what I was selling. It was good, but I'm feeling it now. I don't know if I had time to catch up in the chapter two. So.
You there? I know. Yep. Camera's on and so is the sound, you have to realize that. All right? Depending on how long this goes, I will, I don't know if I need to meet you. Kim let her know. Okay? All right, bye-bye.
Okay, so this is the foundational work that he's come to it. Was it a good read? Because not even in the 1930s.
I know. Well, I read snippets of it. I didn't get a book yet, but hopefully it'll come next week. But I didn't get it yet. I read snippets of it and I was really excited. Did you guys cooking?
Yeah.
Since William George George.
I look like you need a cook.
Ethical and how he pushed that out.
They look
He
like
wrote
they
back in the
need you to have.
Yeah.
And so I like a lot
I
of
could
stuff.
consider that dinner.
And so there really is, rhetoric was really well done and real focused there, but it's got to be the right guy.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Because there's some really fun stuff there too.
Really?
I really like this book though.
Okay.
So I shouldn't utter things like what I do at planning commission.
Well.
See, now when my husband watches, he says that it's very difficult to hear. He has a really hard time. I think it's Paul that sits way back in his
Yeah.
chair. You can't hear what he says.
Should I give him lessons, Mike?
Yeah, Mark doesn't need a microphone. He talks at our PFC meetings.
Hey Nicole, did you get my email?
I was at a training all day today, so I have gotten no emails.
We had our Christmas and World meeting.
Yeah.
They said we'll do a traveling trophy, but they asked if you'd like to make it.
I'll make it.
Figured anything,
It's
just,
gonna look terrible
You really?
My dad. I'm aware. I'm told. You guys have giant ladders to use, so it's cheating.
I don't know, I would, you're gonna share your ladder with her then.
You got a bucket truck, don't you? You do a ladder. Just climb ladders.
My neighbor has a scaffolding thing that you stand on and it goes up.
I have an extension ladder.
I mean, I have one of those too. But his is safer and it's attached to a truck.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, much safer.
Yeah. Mine has to be leaning against something. I just had it come in for another year, don't forget about it. Oh, no. It's.
That's Jamie's office. She's got a conference table in there. Come on, you've been in there, haven't you?
I'm not recently, it's like being called to the principal's office, right?
Really?
No.
No, she's
I don't know,
She's fun.
yeah. Gonna be missed.
That's for sure.
Our principal's office gets a bad name.
It's really the most fun place to be. The superintendent's office, now that's really bad. I used to be HR, so you know. Oh. Yeah, that's bad too. Yeah.
I have most of my meetings in other people's office, I'll go to them. That's how it works, so.
Basically the.
Mr. Black, were you a teacher previously?
Yes, I started teaching in Coosa 2007. I was the German teacher.
Okay.
So I taught for 11 years. It's only been the last 5, now 6 years that I haven't been teaching German, but, so
Okay.
I've got a lot of, actually, it's interesting that, some of the staff that we have, I don't think I'm that old, but I know that multiple of our staff are, now our colleagues are former students of mine.
Oh, I believe my daughter, did you teach, were you a coach too?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. I just remember your name from when my children were in school. I don't remember what year they graduated, but,
Isn't one of your kids the same age as me?
yes.
I graduated
Yeah,
in
come
2009.
on, bring that up, tell
Okay.
everyone how old I am.
No, I was trying to help you.
One's 28 and one's, what are you, 32? 33.
33.
33, yeah.
2009.
2009, okay, so that would have been just, so I started in 2007, so it would have been just the first couple of start a program, build a program, sort of work that, and that was, those are fun.
I don't know any German,
Well, it's,
besides some songs.
well, the fun part is, so I taught 7th grade and then 9th through 12, and so after 5 years, I knew everybody in the high school, because I had them all 7th graders. Not everyone took, German at the high school, and actually, actively, people with their parents like, why are you taking German? Take something useful. I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks. And so we'd sort of do that action a little bit, but, we had, at one point, we had a full, there were 400 students in Nakusa High School, and between the Spanish and German department, we had 220 of them.
Wow.
And, that was all those type of stuff. At that point, after a little while, I shifted here, I became the director of instruction for the district, and so I had to scale back to 1 or 2 classes. So I was a part-time German teacher for the final 6 years as a teacher. So foot in both worlds with that one, but yeah, love all the kids. It's just kind of fun when you teach there long enough, like at this point, so I taught middle school I was the principal there for 5 years, and so at this point, everybody who is at the high school, let me put it this way, everyone who's between 5th grade and 12th grade, I've been their principal.
Okay, yep.
And so I know the parents, I know those type
Yep.
of things, but it's just, you see anyways, it works differently when you're in it a little bit.
Yeah, that's probably where then I heard your name from, the principal at the middle school. That's probably what I'm thinking of. Probably my son. My daughter was an angel. We're being
We are live, yeah.
I hope he's listening right now.
Want him on record for that one?
Just
kidding.
kidding.
No, she's yeah, she was an angel. I think she got in trouble maybe once with me the whole time in high school. I had to take her car away. She came home late one night, like an hour late probably. You know, she was really good.
And you still, that's it?
What?
I said, and you still got her in trouble for one time?
Oh, taught her a lesson. She didn't do it again.
No, she just never got caught again.
That was me growing up.
Not your first rodeo.
Someone who knows.
Let's just say my mom should be sainted.
I believe that.
There's sometimes when it's downtime with students, especially in high school, they get talking something like, you know, I'm in the room here. You know, there's no filter.
No.
I'm like, okay.
Yep. Melissa, do you know, is Adams County doing a light thing too that's separate?
They have a map, and then
Okay.
they advertise it, and people drive around to all the
It's
locations.
their houses.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the levy blow.
Okay, 'cause my staff was very confused. They're like, "Oh, you can enter it individually." I'm like, "No, you can't." They're like, "Yes, you can. It was on a poster." I'm like, "It's not the same thing." Okay.
Yes. And Lisa just requested that we be included on that map this year, so. That's that.
You have to decorate now.
What?
I said you have to decorate now.
No, I'm with you at the town center.
Oh, okay.
No, Lisa from Visit Rome requested that the town center be added to the map.
Oh, so can the town center collectively?
I don't know if it's well, maybe it is a competition, I
It
don't
is a
know.
competition. They said there's a trophy and there's cash prizes for individuals.
So now you're really going for
First
two
prize is like
trophies.
$500.
I don't know. I don't know.
Although that's not very many lights. I wouldn't wanna invest more than I could win.
Yeah. Are you in on that too, Will, or who's doing the decorating?
I've hired somebody to hang the lights for me this year.
Are you kidding?
So when I said I
So,
contracted out,
So unfortunately, I still haven't regained all feeling in my legs since
Ah,
2021.
excuses.
So I can't climb a ladder, so I've hired a handyman to hang some bicycle lights. So
We don't even know what our theme's gonna
I
be.
pay well if you're.
I don't
you know,
either.
You want, you wanna come over, chief?
But all the ground level stuff's yours, right? Will?
I don't know.
Ground level stuff's mine. The blow ups, I got
I can plug those in. Great.
Chief's
the
getting
stake.
pretty popular
I got
tonight.
new stakes.
Love it.
I'm not chasing it down the block again.
Yes. Get it in now before it freezes.
Can't start till the 24th, or you're gonna be disqualified.
Just don't build up. It said you can apply to, or ask for a
Just don't wait 'em.
What?
exemption.
What?
Well, for the town center,
Where did you see
it
that?
said if you need to put it up early, let us know and we'll put out the extension cord for you early.
What?
But I wouldn't wanna do it early because I don't want people to know what we're doing.
I don't have an idea what we're doing yet.
I don't either.
We have like 3 different ideas, but we gotta all get together and kind of pool our ideas and go
Uh-huh.
through what we all have.
All I know is it asked for a tree. I was like, well, that at least gives me something
I'm gonna cut your tree
to
down.
work with. I think the town might have something to say about that.
I'll do it at night.
It's on microphone, this is recorded, you have now admitted to a crime, so therefore if it happens, I'll say, look at the evidence, confession.
Just check the time on your watch.
Yeah,
You want that one? So-
okay, perfect.
Oh my goodness, I hope nobody cuts a tree down now.
I was gonna say free game, anyone who's listening. They won't know which one's mine though, so only you would have that information.
That's true.
This has already been set up.
Okay, only you and everyone else in the contest would have that information. So that narrows.
With the map, yeah, and they wouldn't even know which one we are because the Snow Bandits are taking the town of Rome spot.
Well, now we know.
Yeah.
Need to find a parking lot.
Cause I don't know why the town of Rome was on there, but nobody, we asked Brad if he was decorating, he said no.
How does Jamie signed up for it?
Now she's not here.
leaving. My parting gift to you, decorate this spot.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Lisa just messaged me. She said she requested that the town center not be eligible for voting/prizes.
Oh, man.
Is she listening to us?
Yes.
Hi, Lisa. Okay, I won't cut her tree
So
down.
we might get two people listening to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no, I've gotten many more comments.
Oh, okay.
I got stop scrolling.
This is why you sit back here.
Well, the bench was taken.
It actually is pretty
They need
comfortable.
some recliners in here if they're gonna keep us longer. I'm gonna take you up on the treadmill. They might not think about it.
Is it just me or do you hear music outside the door?
I think it's talking.
Oh, it's talking?
I'm like, I don't think it's, maybe someone's
Yeah.
singing. It's become a real life musical. Always wanted that to happen.
Just to walk down and people.
All of a sudden, a dance number
Yeah, I was
breaks
gonna say,
out.
yeah, that dance number for it.
Yep. Those are flash mobs or something.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that, yeah.
Mhm. Our, what is it, our seventh and eighth grade social studies teacher is way into dance, so she would often organize flash mobs where they would take middle school teacher students, and then she took them over to the high school ones, and all of a sudden they just broke out. Of course, it wasn't milling around, like, what the heck are middle school teachers, the students going around in the commons, so, but she would organize those around it.
Interesting,
Yeah, never step on enthusiasm, they'll surprise you,
yeah.
what they come up with.
never stops. Never stops.
Did everyone get cookies or dessert?
I'm starting to feel like I need to put on a show or something, and I can't handle all this.
Same here.
Why don't you do a reading?
I did give Jamie a book, but I think she took it with her, so. I'll find out.
I guess the question I have is really simple, right? We don't like potentially falters. Something like that. Because most of my dogs, I heard Stan say that I was, I get this, if I try to process, like that.
This is kind of different laws, each video. Hey, look, baby, for it. Oh, but you're using that truck, right? Oh, were you? I didn't know you got it already. That's awesome. Okay, more useful for you, right? Yeah. Actually, put things, do things like that.
You gonna put a cap on the back of that?
It goes on, it's actually at Auto Extras right now, it'll be on in the morning.
Use your stickers and stuff yet?
As soon as that cap's on, then they can do the final measurements.
Administrators give feedback in the classroom in the morning.
Good idea.
It was communicating with Don Colado today.
They do graphics and stuff?
Ads for it.
We might have to steal his old one for the bookmobile. Oops, that we're trying to make. It's very, I'm the library director.
So is this like the Kindle for writing?
Oh, okay. Is that,
Hi, Nicole.
cause I know that the county, library, they wanted to, they kinda got shut down
Yeah,
because of the
but,
price.
yeah, because the one they put in a request.
Right.
And this is really $150 where this is me
Oh, yeah,
saying,
just
I'm
sort of-
gonna take chief's leftovers and make food.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I like my files, I
Moment, they all might smell like food. Watch out for fries. Keep the fries baked up.
I tried that for a little.
You can add right after structure rush,
One of my
professors
professors,
years there.
I was an English and German major, so I
Don't
took
let
every
it
writing
rain.
class in law, just to learn how to become a good writer.
Yeah,
That was-
yeah.
We're all-
It's not actually from a fire, yeah.
He said he always had composition notebooks, nothing really so you can capture ideas of what was I thinking back then, so, because by forcing yourself to write, you're forcing yourself to think more precisely about things. So, I do that, and so I just have it on, I have it under Google Docs, and I just date, every day I put my.
No, I'm talking about
Scroll
scroll
down,
pickup truck.
because it's an endless scroll. And so I'll put a new one every year. But that way I can, several times, I'll get an email that I have to put a report on, then I'll just find out, okay, then I can just take control F, and then.
620 or wherever that number is.
And then I've got all my, I never learned how many reports you have to give on random things, on a wide range of things that you need to sort of create quickly. And so that's what I use, so that's currently the process I've used, and I've really been developing that. But for me, it's type and scroll for the routine, because otherwise you lose it.
Yeah. I know, I've been very old school for me because, first of all, it's a lot faster. I'm not really a particular.
I'm afraid of that.
Wish I wouldn't know. So, but I do like in different color patterns.
Well, the thing that's, where writing got me is that I don't edit it as much.
No, I don't either.
Because when I write it, I sort of refer back to it, but I don't rewrite it.
That's right.
But because I type very well.
Yep.
And, that's where it sort of kicks in.
I journal in, my computer, but I write everything else, like dinners and everything, and
Right.
so
It's about the way my meals have been going lately.
Well, you've got a process.
I do, yeah.
And it's a matter of making it, because your creative process doesn't lend itself to too much.
No, I know.
You gotta find what, you develop what works for you, you gotta be able to work around that.
That's why, my birthday's coming up in December, and my son wants to know what I want to do. And I told him about this, and he said, why don't you, I said, no, I don't know if I want one. So,
Well, you're sending mixed messages, Liz.
I know it, I know.
Are you
I
one of
do
those
all
where
the
it's
time.
really hard to tell them, okay, pumping my wife for gift ideas is tough.
Yeah, I know.
And if you're the same
We
way.
don't give up.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, we're
Because
very
that
bad.
parcel you have on Badger and Z.
I know. And that's why they're starting so early,
Right.
because I never tell.
Well, now they told me something, so,
I know I don't want it.
okay, well, there's that.
I'm very angry. Why don't we send it?
Well, get over that.
Anyway, oh.
Okay.
How are your kids doing?
Their usual health-wise is just up and down, whatever else, but, but she's in a good swing right now. So, I see her, the other two, so Becca is working on, she's got involved with the water conservation. Right now, the big thing is utility is the Salt Lake is a historic low. And so they've been working on, like, for example, how can we send more water to it, so it's called Grow the Flow. And so she's become involved with that area, so she actually works for them. So I gotta, if we signed up for a email, because she talked to us, and then we got the emails like, oh, there's something coming out, it's like, oh, she wrote her name, she's part of the, mobilize people, and of course, there's politics involved, water rights, outlaws, there's always politics, and money involved, and how that goes, and so she's works for a professor who's very involved in the middle of it, and actually just got sued or had a rant, or a little political thing, and they canceled his, he had a half, she had a, what was it, the $500 million grant that got canceled, because they didn't like what he was doing, sort of some hardball, some people were against him. So she's starting to swim in.
I'm still on everything.
Is she done with school?
No, she's a junior.
She's a junior.
But she works in a, for her job, she's working for them, but on the side, she was a intern restoring a river delta, so she was out there,
That's fancy.
reporting stuff.
Director of finance saying that. So she was down, did you tell you things?
No, because she,
Window in your office?
she hates the desert, she wants to be around wet. And so she wants to move back here, where it's wet. Her favorite, when she comes to visit us, the first thing she does is gets out of the car and goes to the river across the street.
One of two offices with no
She
window
grew up
left.
around the, right around on, we live across the street from Wisconsin.
Come and get some financial and then go back
She
and
needs, so,
then the right.
yeah, yeah, she and Kenny will be
You,
coming back.
you,
So.
you
I got a
one of those,
TV,
like,
and I got some
big
comfy
windows.
chairs.
Okay, well,
He
that's
just
cool.
got back to approval, so he is, but he got a job as an IT. So, does it very well, enjoys it.
Just make sure you're out of here before the big
Programming
people
classes.
show up,
and everything.
'cause they're wicked.
It's, he can't describe much of what he's doing, well, he does, but it makes no sense to us.
Yeah, that building's at capacity, so.
So they're both living in BYU,
No,
they're
no.
actually in the same
Or-
apartment complex. They live probably a 2-minute walk from each other's area, so they see each other a lot.
I was
And,
told that's frowned
You know,
upon.
we both have parents that are right around there, so they're being fed by grandparents. All the good stuff. No, it's nice, like, for example, like, we gotta fly them home.
Pay rent
Right
thing?
there.
We'll say,
That's
okay,
not in the
my mom will take them to
That's
your,
in the special.
someone takes
Just
care of
build
them.
it, a large
You don't have to
garage.
worry about, we just schedule it and then just
The
let
one
our parents
over
know
on
and they'll work out the
50th?
other details
Is that
about
what you're
getting where
referring
they
to?
need to go, so.
And Becca is with home now?
That's not
So
what
Rachel,
we're doing.
that's right.
Okay, see you later.
So Rachel has graduated, so she graduated college, her field was.
Oh, we have, and my name is
Basically,
Nicole.
she graduated human development, she was, so basically
That's right.
childcare and
You're right next.
her area, but as a result, that's where little kids get out through their journeys themselves, so that's where she got COVID. And so it's long COVID.
A long time ago, I called you, yes.
I am just so busy that I don't even think of what
Yes,
it is.
the call
She
center
doesn't
is
even
there.
walk by, it's like, oh, it must be.
My building
And you don't have a
Spiral effect.
don't have a
She comes in on Wednesdays,
So we just get your mail
Except
a lot.
They go on Tuesday night,
Her
and she
field
went
is
to
always
the
gonna be with
negotiation,
kids
that's
who
coffee.
are sick. And that's just sort of, it's gonna be a appetite. You know, but she's going around.
It's usually packages.
We just got like 8 TVs delivered last week.
Yeah, so everyone's a slightly
I'm
different
glad
spot
Leslie
for
come,
it.
last time it came, I called and made someone come over and get it. 'cause
Yeah,
I'm not
nice to have
carrying
everybody
all
there.
of these packages over there.
My son is in
Good.
Colorado.
The Amazon people screw up all the time.
Yes.
So we have County D, we have the Spire Store, we have the main shipping center. So our stuff will end up at one of those three. So like County D is where the wood shop is, they just ordered a bunch of creamers. And they all got delivered to the Aspire store. And the guy just dumped them. He dumped them. He's like, oh, I give him the TVs here, they can have the coolers.
One week my mail gets delivered to the town, and the next week it gets delivered to the library. I'm like, I don't understand.
But hey, my new office beats my old one.
Yeah?
My old one is in the basement. I had to walk through the kitchen to get to it. And,
Well, now that I know it's you over there, I'm gonna come visit.
Yeah.
it was a
Well,
glorified,
and again, there's all sorts of
storage
thing
closet.
that we're doing with Kenyon is the way that you get them to talk is to be able to just.
Wait, so
sort of
is that
say
just finance? I thought it was a
So
call center.
finance, health center.
A phone call is tough because then you feel
I have the IT
it's sort of artificial, but if you're
Okay.
hanging out and then you can say, well, how about, you know, it's sort of slow development.
Yeah.
Like Elena would just go ahead, just when he was in high school, just go ahead and be in the same room with him, and every so often he'd say, oh, what about this, you know, because he doesn't volunteer
You still
something
get
unless
people
you have
coming in
extended
thinking
time.
it's a clinic.
Yeah.
Becky will tell
I
you.
don't believe them anymore. I think
There's
they're
phone calls
there
at
to-
least an hour, and she'll be here day by day, and here's all the stuff.
You're like, I
So
can pretend
she's
to
just
be a doctor.
very interested in that, so that was well. And it's not so much.
Like Terry Anderson, she works
So you just have to interact with
Monday
them.
through Friday, and she's not like reception.
Yeah.
So I let her deal with them, she knows most of them.
Basically raised him as a baseball fan, so we have some common area to go
So
ahead.
I'm going
I remember baseball.
when
We
I
still
do
get people
it,
asking, they're
New
like,
York Mets.
when,
So,
when does
what-
Pirates
what-
fly? And we're like,
I know nothing about
Okay,
It was
well,
pretty
they
good.
just started saying,
Oh.
no matter how much they try, they still start this thing, so.
And March,
why are you a fan?
like,
Well,
they're-
if I'm gonna abandon them as a fair weather fan, that's the last time you're gonna do that.
Have you always been a fan?
All the
Since
calendars were
1986.
still March
So it goes
23rd.
back a ways. So, yeah,
It's
that's
like all one day of the
well,
sun coming
okay,
in.
so I, 1986, I was
And then
a
all
sophomore in
us
high school.
virus is doing was
And
changing
they,
filters.
so,
And then they'd be
stories of
popping
this,
in every once in a while.
goes back a
when
little
they
bit,
needed
my brother,
something,
my
rather
uncle
than buying.
was
it.
the, one of the athletic transfer people.
Pillage it from there.
And,
So
he
you
was,
thought this was
as a
what
result,
was there
he
people
would, we
like
got to
to
go
do.
to BYU
They
baseball.
They took the
They
light
just took
bulbs
the light
out.
bulbs and.
And so
Why
the
did
start of the
people
BYU
take
baseball.
them to the hospital, you know,
It's like
some
the
of the
Grinch.
rooms
And
had
so
the eye
Rick Sager
things,
then went to the major
things,
leagues.
and then this room started, this room
In 1986, he played for the Los Angeles Angels. They were in the league championship series against the Red Sox, and they were going back and forth with
Oh,
their
I was
tie
like,
game.
they didn't take the, okay.
And so I go all the way up, saying, "Oh, this is I'm so excited for him." And but the other team beat for him. I said, "Well, that was kind of fun. I'll watch the World Series." But I can't root for people who just beat him because and so I rooted for the other team. That happened to be the Mets.
Sounds like that's a PowerPoint.
So I sort of defaulted into it. And so I was like, well, that's cool. Then I started following the Mets for a while. Then that was the last time they actually ever won anything, back in 1986. So we're still waiting on that. So I sort of, but it was just the sort of things like, well, I'm not gonna buy the game, they're down, and well, it's character.
Yeah, no,
But that's how I became a Mets fan.
so whatever happened to the guys, you never.
Oh, he was good. He retired, Barry did other stuff, and sort of all that, but so, yeah, you go back, and do and all that type of stuff. And I know it just because I had autographed baseball, because he was a star, because I got to go in all day. So I had that, so that connection is what I got into it. But I sort of defaulted into my team.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yes, matter of fact, before Kenny went on his mission, we went out to New York, and to catch all the Mets games, and then just stayed on Manhattan, and then just sort of walked the city, and then just sort of just spent time. So I started doing that with Kenny. We would always go down and see the Brewers when the Mets were in. So we would stay there, and we went over to, we got back to the city, and that's well out of town, but we went down to watch the Brewers anyway, just walk around the city. And same thing we did in New York, we just did the same. So we're exploring cities. That's the type of stuff we're fun.
Yeah, I know.
So there's not much to talk about, but you find it a great experience. You share and talk about. Yeah, so like in New York, for example, we found a really great pastrami, world best pastrami sandwich. Sergeant Deli, well, there's arguments. I mean, seriously, so sandwiches have but they gave you that much pastrami, I'm not kidding, and that much stuff. And so we cut it in half and we're both still. But that was the best pastrami we ever had. So every time we go, we try some in Milwaukee, we found the best ribs we've ever had. So we're basically sampling, you go somewhere, you sample the food, all the stuff that's more local, and some specialties, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Whenever Steve and I travel,
It's still not
we
bad.
we never go to restaurants that are not so local.
Right.
We always go to
So it was gonna take this long and close.
Exactly.
I just, people are,
You can't get it anywhere else, and that's, right.
I love to see that.
So when you're thinking, the next part,
Yeah, I totally with that, yeah. There's some downtown that were questionable. We were like, okay, should we even be here? But it all worked out.
okay.
Alright, that's the one, should I stay at home or go?
So when,
Go whenever you wanna go, just let me know what you want, so I don't go home. 7.
and on the way, we went
It's
to,
probably cold
we
when we
went to
got there.
Iowa, and we stopped at the field. Yeah, that's pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
This was before they remodeled it for the baseball.
Baseball games,
So it was the original field of dreams.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And we were the only two there. We could go, anywhere we wanted except the house.
Right.
But everything was there. I mean, we went out to the cornfield.
Right.
It was so cool. But, then a couple weeks, then I heard that they remodeled this for it's just not there now.
Right.
I mean, it's down this dirt road. I mean, I thought we were lost, but it's like, oh, there it is, and there it was. It's so cool. It's very cool, so.
We're gonna switch that, but it's gonna be after hours,
It was a
four
lot of
numbers
fun.
that we could push
Yeah,
on
that was
and
a nice
whatever,
trip.
but during
We went
hours, it's
through-
gonna ring her phone, my
I mean,
phone, and the new
it
girl's
was-
phone. It's gonna go through a circle, like,
Fire.
so if she doesn't pick it up, the next person
We
has
went through
opportunity.
hell. I know, we did everything. So, but I noticed though that when we're on a motorcycle, so I know. So we go to the gas station, everybody wants to talk about the bike, they want to talk about this, they want to talk about that. We went to New Mexico, to the Stars and Love that. And,
I do too, because
talking. There was a politician that came up to us, he was in too, and he says, is that your motorcycle? So we from, so then we started talking, and she took my number, she was like,
Yeah, I had a sandwich about 1:30, so that's gonna have to tide me over, I think.
That Nicole wants Sarah.
I think there's some
just last, it'll probably last till about 9:30.
His address, and I don't know, I stepped in.
Well, there's 32 players.
That secret ceremony, which was
And
so.
so we play in tonight's position, so, sports.
It was really amazing.
So, you know, when you get down to the bottom players,
We had the best time.
you have to
It was
play
so much
cricket.
fun. So, but yeah.
You know, cricket is more specific as far as hitting the numbers and stuff.
But,
It is.
now we have.
And so, that's where I'm at.
But he's
I
so
don't
much
care.
better.
It's a night out.
Oh, yeah. Socialization.
Exactly.
Yes, it's so very.
And there's a lot of my constituents from the county at this dark meeting. So when it comes time to circulate nomination papers, I don't know where to go.
And the height, the ramp was like this, and it was. You got your network, you know.
I kind of do. Yeah, there's a few, well, I'll have to look it up, but I try and get like 30 signatures, because I only need 20. Just in case I made a mistake and somebody lives on the other side, Highway 13.
We had like 4 people.
That's right, you know, you rich people are on the west side of 13, you know.
I mean, we look like idiots, but they're like,
So, yeah.
this is a terrible racial, you know, and we said we just, the way our bike is, it has the protection, so it doesn't such a mess. So, but they helped us up with the bike, they helped us, get off the ramp to a normal.
So, I mean, I saw one,
I mean, it was.
Ratchet Trail.
Sort of the two wheels and back.
They're in fact.
15th Avenue.
Yeah, this was. Yeah.
What part of,
It's just so
where
much.
have you lived?
And Steve, I live in Limbo, takes my time to do it, and I don't play.
And make notes for next year when I go.
So when,
I would say it's gotta be my
Everything I do is gonna be that way.
and he never really said.
So,
And so Justin.
so is 18 adjacent to the driving range area? It's on the other side, or, oh, 'cause I know where 9 and 10 are, you know, 10 takes off directly south from the clubhouse.
And now
Right
you're,
there.
yep.
Yeah.
So then you go, well, it kind of costs.
Go off to the west and you
I said, just
can
get
get
on
to
the
the west
west
and then you come back to the clubhouse. So you're on the west side of
Yeah, but you
13.
got your bike back.
He does, yeah,
There's
he
only
has
some
that.
cost.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So are you on, like, is that Duffer's
And
Trail?
it's
or-
Duffers is,
I don't care about that stuff, but
well,
it was
Bogey
just,
Trail.
now
is-
he's
Yeah.
driving it every summer.
I'm on Birdie,
Wonderful.
which is a cul-de-sac,
I really love
but
it.
it's on the other, Bogey is on one side of 18 and, Birdie's on the other side. And
Okay.
I'm on the south side of the 18, it's coming towards the clubhouse to the east. 18 goes east and west, and I'm on
That's fair.
the south side.
Okay.
So we were treating it.
But it's just a little itty
Yep.
bitty home.
Library training?
When I moved up here, I only wanted to.
Tuesday training meeting, also director meeting.
Max.
For our show.
Because the rest of the time I was.
Subcentral
Sure.
system.
Yeah.
Can I sit one of these
That's
chairs?
kind of what we did, you know, at least what my thought was, is that I'm gonna build my house and maintenance streets and
Tell her I'll leave her some crumbs.
and I'm getting older, I don't
Sleep good last night.
stain and do all that stuff, you
And to
know.
have a.
Everybody likes to look at that log side of home, but man, what a maintenance
I can
issue.
do this for so long, and then I'll
Oh,
just
yeah.
start zoning out, and I won't even be
We
able to
had
spell
some
some
friends
words.
that redid.
My brain will just.
I've been, I worked like, I'm reminded.
There's a lady down the street from us that, she has a beautiful log home.
I
And
didn't get out
she
until
just had the
6:30
whole
in the
thing
morning, and I was
sandblasted,
by the time I got home,
and
I
it's
was not
rechainsed,
here on Monday.
restained,
No more, I can't do
replaced
that to myself.
logs.
Wow.
It
I
had to
always
be,
like
it had to be
my
just
time.
some type of outrageous
Cause it's usually if I
thing,
know I'm working late, I'll have like programs.
much
with
work that
myself.
she had done.
But then I'll go in later.
See, yes,
Our
I
house
can't
was
do that as
beautiful.
much. I can, once I get to know my
I don't know
job.
if she's gonna end up staying or not, certainly
I've
that.
been working 9 hour days and I'm really honest.
She's
with
gotta
you,
be-
but so yesterday I came in at 7, I left at 3 yesterday.
It very well could be, you know, she's got one boy that lives up in Medford, one boy that lives up in the Twin Cities, and one boy that lives down in
She's come in at
Cincinnati,
7, leave at 3.
and they're all
Come in at 8.
kind of
Like
getting
just
her.
that Monday, yeah, usually it's at
Maybe
4 or
she-
so.
Yeah, so it's like, well, once I know my job, I can start
Just
doing that.
because
You
of,
don't,
you know, your age, she's
you
still driving,
pretty darn good.
and she does okay.
Yeah, I was a lady. This is my
Kind of keep an eye on her, you know, I told her,
what?
if anything happens, you call
Last
me.
week sort of been.
And I
I've
found
given
out
her house
it
in
wasn't
Jackson.
that funny, but
She has a phone,
So-
check-in line every morning with some
My big dog
friends,
is
that
English.
call each other to make sure everybody's up and about.
he likes to leave little
Yeah.
nuggets.
Yeah, so, you know, if I, sometimes I've gotten a phone call,
Do you?
Yeah.
Once I was on the beach,
Yeah,
I
what
was,
to pick up.
and
Stressed out based on.
I was cutting weeds on a lake.
no.
North Campbell.
That was my morning. Like half asleep.
She was okay. and
I
she-
didn't go and I'm like, so I put it back down so I could take a picture of it.
So she, plan to be proactive
And then I
and
cleaned it
stuff,
up.
so just makes it easy to.
Somebody left me a surprise, so.
So nice of them.
And that's the only thing I knew which one was it.
I'll say, I'm getting
Yeah.
experience.
North Camelot,
Areas.
if you go east on D, there's a big potato field, 200-acre potato field on Red Ninth.
I think it's going up.
You take a right on Ninth and head towards the lake.
You're down or whatever else, but
It dead ends at Plymouth,
that's.
and I'm like, turn right on the second house on the left.
And also, I'm doing research.
Yeah, we've been there since 2007.
The ones, everything will be about.
I retired in 2006.
Well, they
job
didn't
is to
have to
make
move it,
everything
it was
work.
done.
And
You've got to.
my wife is a number of years younger than me, so she couldn't retire. So she resigned. She was working for the highway department. She was the administrative assistant.
Thank you for having faith in me, but also I took that faith in me. I don't have
She was up here in March of 2007.
Yeah.
And,
I'll done, you're more confident. I'll have gone through some stuff and understand it. I'm sorry.
really? Third house in on which side, on 51st Street? Which?
Oh, yeah. Very good. Oh, so
On
different.
the west side or east side of the street?
I wasn't here.
Were you by somewhere by where Gary Leonard lived? Fire, they were firemen, Gary Leonard, his brother to the school. They may have been that, no, they lived on 51st Street somewhere north of Layton Avenue. That is funny. Have you been back in that area at all? Oh, to a county park, but I do that. And then that 84 south.
Oh,
It's
Get around?
my question seriously, take it seriously.
Yeah, yes, I did.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Item 12.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we can.
I think we're right here.
Okay. Thank you for your understanding. We had to take a while with the Energy Council. The board reserves the right to enter into open session authorized by Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85 sub 2 to possibly take action from the closed session and continue with the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move we go back into open session authorized by Wisconsin statute, section 19.82, subparagraph, or .85, subparagraph 2.
We have a motion by Supervisor Capel, second by Supervisor Cole, to return to open session as authorized by Wisconsin statute section 19.85 sub 2. Roll call vote starting on my left.
Capel, yes.
Minder, yes.
Jamadi, yes.
Barheit, yes.
Okay, we have no motion.
You need to return to item 14.
Yes, we'll return to item 14, and again, thank you all for your patience.
All right. Well, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Nathan Black. I am the district administrator in Nakusa. Now, a note that I've taught in, I started at Nakusa in 2007. This is my first year as district administrator. Last year, Terry Whitmore was here in this stead. And one of the things as we're talking about is to be able to help give an understanding of here's how we are as basically a stewardship of our funds. We are public servants, and be able to talk of ways in which we are using not only just the funds, but here's the areas where how we're doing with education. One of the notes to that is that, so just over the last couple of days, the state report cards were issued. We got the early versions of that a couple months back, and we've sort of been looking at those. And so just I'm not going to go into large detail, but a couple other that goes on that. Where that stands is that as there are, before going into that, there's just two major things to be aware of that govern how state report cards are generated and also much of the work that we do. One of them is achievement. Achievement is basically saying this goes against, this is a snapshot, spot in time, how people took a test on a given day, and talks about how they are measured against a standard. In many cases, the easiest one, like for example, how you did on the ACT, if you're familiar with college. And matter of fact, the ACT is our assessment for our high schools in the state of Wisconsin. And things along like that. How do you meet against a relative standard? And so and that helps us prepare to understand how well we're preparing our students for what's next in those areas. The other side of it is growth. In other words, in those cases, we're comparing our students against themselves a year earlier. We're showing how much in the time that we had for them, how do we go ahead and help them grow? One of the things and both of them together are necessary to get a picture of how things work. Achievement helps. One of the things about achievement, it doesn't control for a lot of the factors that schools can't control, whereas growth very much does. And as those, however, one of the areas as the school report cards are generated, it is based on a combination of factors, primarily about how you balance achievement versus growth in different districts and how that, I'm not going to get into the inside baseball of how that's going, but for the basics of it is that, and as a note, our achievement right now in the Nacusa School District is very low. One of the things is this is something that going into the pandemic, I saw this one personally, just as a note, is that I became principal at Alexander Middle School 2 years before the pandemic hit. And in my first year as Alexander Middle School principal, we did a lot of work and we were able to we came 0.7 short of exceeds expectations. They have various, there's meets few expectations, meets expectations, exceeds expectations, and those levels of it. And at that time, the high school was at exceeds expectations. Middle school, after the work that we did, I was looking forward to, because I was sure that we were going to be able to get over the exceeds expectations. Then, well, the pandemic hit on those areas. And so since that time, a note here is that I've got a copy of the school or district report card, and there's a note that's put on this. It says, please use caution when interpreting scores and ratings. Multiple years of data impacted by COVID-19 pandemic are used throughout the report card. And so, but I'm not shying away from this one. Our achievement scores are low. Those are ones that we need to have areas of work on. In my first year of superintendent, I'm able to go ahead and look in specific areas for that. A note that I mentioned on growth, and our growth scores are very strong. In other words, our students, and on basic for that, let's say by growth means, though, let's say I have a student who's starting as a 6th grader, at the end of the year, that they would then test as a 7th grader. Now that works, and that's sort of the basic, 1 year's growth for 1 year's time that you're spending. That's sort of the basic idea on growth. And so basically, however, in the situation that we're at, and we've had several years of strong growth, and that's a standard of it. That is where it is across the Nacusa School District. And so however, what that means is that, let's say I'm coming in so take 6th grade again. I'm coming as a 6th grade student. After years, I would test as a 7th grade student. However, if I'm at grade level, let's say I'm entering 6th grader and my reading level is equivalent to a 4th grader going into there, 1 year's growth has you leaving as a 5th grader at the end of 6th grade, so you didn't close any gaps. And so one of the things that are particular of area of focus of being able to work on this is that we are in need to be able to invest in things that are not just average growth and the regular growth, but we need to invest in things, and we are investing in things that help speed up that growth. Now, that takes time. It takes work. I'm aware of this one because like in 2013, the first year that Terry Whitmore, my predecessor, was the superintendent, we got a note, and basically where we rated in the state of Wisconsin was in the bottom 5% of various districts as far as academic growth and whatever else. At that time, and that's one of the reasons, for example, that I was hired as, at that point, so my PhD is in curriculum instruction from UW-Madison. At that time, I was hired as the director of instruction for the school district. And to be able to do some things to restructure the ways that we were doing growth. We wanted to improve the ways, especially special education services, students who were struggling at meeting basic needs to be able to, across the board. And at that time, after it took a lot of work. It took a lot of focusing on our systems, changing, restaffing, various things as necessary. Within about a 3-year period, we were able as a district to be able to go from the bottom 5% to being exceeds expectations. And in the areas of growth that we have been, and since that time, we've still continued to be strong. Even with the advent of the pandemic, our numbers have been much lower than they have at that point, than it was pre-pandemic. And that's understandable. One of the, and again, I'm not giving that as an excuse because we are walking away and we're saying we're going to own that low achievement. But I will note that at this point, as opposed to 10 years ago, our growth at that time, our growth and our achievement were low. At this point, our growth is solid. And so that is, the way you move achievement growth is by doing the things that invest in growth. Now, I'm not going to go into, I can share, if you're interested, I'll share more details on it. Well, let me just give a quick example of one of the things that we're doing on that. Last week, our high school math department met together with somebody from the ACT. That's our state assessment. They took, at the high school, they take what's known as the pre-ACT a couple times a year to sort of see how they're doing. They sat down with the results that our students this year had taken, and they showed exactly, here's where they didn't match up. They compared that with what we're teaching day to day, and they noticed where the holes were. What are the type of things that our students are not doing well that we're actually teaching day in? And they start building in extra lessons for those things. They noticed the ways that they were actually even able to look at the student work that they were doing to be able to say, here are the type of areas where they got it so close, like they did all the work right, but they got the wrong answer. And so what are the things, the process we need to start doing so that they do the right processes? So it's not just the outcomes, but the processes. That type of work, backwards planning from understanding, and so that's one of the things that we're instituting and looking at the forward assessment, the ACT assessment, the various things that the state, the achievement things are going, is helping understand that. And so this is the type, we have since that time, and this is one of our big areas of focus. I will say that there's a high sense of urgency of this. I've talked with all of our staff, I've talked with our administrative team, and also the things that we need to invest, and this is a constant area of focus. So this is urgent, but we're not panicking. We've been able to turn this around before. We know it takes area of focus. It takes investment. It needs working it and restructuring as necessary, and goes that. I've seen one of those cycles in our district beforehand. We're now on a low cycle of this in many cases due to the areas that we're trying. And again, let's be honest, for the last couple of years, and for many times, we are dealing with issues specifically of mental health awareness, or being able to, how can we work with students in trauma? Much of our focus of our professional development is going to support students who are really in various areas. And so with that area of it, now those areas are solid. Those are things that we're continuing to work on, but much of what we're reinvesting in, what we're working on, our area of focus is to be able to move those achievement scores up. And so, just as a note, our achievement scores are low. That's something we're owning. That's something we're focusing on. But just as we're able to get our growth scores up earlier after sustained focus, we're now going to be able to experience the same thing on the achievement side of it. And so I can give more details on those type of things, but those would be the short overall versions of it. And if you have any questions on that particular front, I'd be glad to entertain those.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Is there anything as a town or as citizens, residents of this town, that people here who might be willing to volunteer, assist, get involved, could do to help the schools as far as tutoring, mentoring, helping with reading programs, anything like that? Because I don't know that we're aware, if there are these things, what they are.
Thank you. Yes, and for those type of things, we have so there's a man by the name of Paul Liebherr who works with our district. And we're very closely associated with the United Way of Southwood County. And so, for example, when people want to be volunteers, he's the one who organizes that for our district. And so basically it would be a matter of contacting our district office. That's 715-886-8000, and ask for Paul. And Paul will be able to help. And so, for example, at Humke Elementary, one of the things, it's a regular part that I walk through, and I'll see out in the hallway, there's volunteers who are reading to our students and giving them additional chances to learn from that. I can remember during the pandemic that's actually, it was a common thing that we had people that would Zoom read with our students. Even when we had to stay distance, we still had that happen. We're grateful to have volunteers back in schools again.
Yeah.
And so as far, as the middle school, we had some people who would come in and volunteer with, for example, math is a particular area that people feel lack of confidence in. And we had tutors who would come in and work together during our study hall periods. And that happens at each level. And so if we have anybody who is interested in working together, that has been a great partnership. We've been very grateful for those, and those are continuing opportunities that can come. So Paul Liebherr is the person who is our coordinator for the district, and ask for Paul Liebherr, and he'll be able to find ways to be able to match interests and skills to needs.
Is that something that could even be coordinated, and I don't want to speak up for Nicole, but could even be somehow coordinated with and through our library, that maybe that they can help with that communication? Because it seems people that might be interested in this are same people that might be going to the library.
I would recommend, Paul is the type of person who's
Talk to
going to have,
Paul.
I'd
All
say,
right, talk to
well,
Paul.
I'm going to put this in Paul's ear, and I want to say, okay, because he's always recruiting. He's always casting out that net for those type of stuff. And so if you can give me some contact information, I will get Paul going on it. I'm very excited to see where that could go.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a number, or do you by chance have an idea of how many children with the lower achievement scores, because of COVID, as a result of COVID, how many have had to repeat a grade, or?
It is in education, it is a rare, and actually, research is very solid on this one. Asking a student to repeat a grade, while usually well-intentioned for academic areas, is extremely detrimental for social issues. In my time in the Nacusa School District, I can think of one student who I'm aware of who was asked to repeat a grade, and it was a horrible, I had him twice. I had him as a 7th grader one year, and I had him as a 7th grader the next year. It didn't help. One of the educational research shows if you repeat someone for purposes of trying to get the academics there, they're 4 times more likely to, if they repeat one grade, they're 4 more likely to drop out. And if you do it 2 grades, they're almost guaranteed to drop out. And so one of the things that we do, and so as a result, our teachers need to be able to teach a wide range of students at grade level versus other ones, and it can be done, and it's being done daily, and there's strong ways to do that. And there's scaffolds. Again, there's resources that come. Some of the things as we're looking up, several people have heard about in the, for example, Act 20 from the legislature has been a real focus on literacy needs. And those are some things that we're embracing as we're looking to be able to, like, for example, a lot of that is focusing, and the school report cards, your ability to be, your literacy scores at 3rd grade are very crucial.
Yes.
And so, because that sets you up for things. If you want to intervene with someone, you intervene as soon as possible.
3rd grade.
For one reason, if you intervene with a 1st grader, they can't be 2 grade levels behind. You can support them. You can get them up to that. And so that's one of the things as we're pivoting. So again, from our last referendum, as Lynn mentioned, we've been very diligent in staying to the things that we promised. We promised focuses on tech ed. We talked on areas of being able to get coaches to be able to help support students and teachers in those areas. And those have certainly helped and worked with us. As we're now pivoting in a post-pandemic area, as we're looking at towards the next areas for referendum, we would be looking at specific needs of what are ways that we can add specific academic supports for these areas to move those academic things. Again, it'll take, as it did our first round of it 10 years ago, it will take time, it will take structure, it'll take a lot of work, but it can be done. And but that is one of my areas that, again, of area of focus is to be able to that a rising boat lifts all ships. This is something that needs to be a focus. Our students deserve it. And again, here's a note. By this, I don't mean to say that our students are not achieving at high levels. A note here is in Nacusa High School, we offer 9 AP classes. We offer 11 classes for dual credit with Midstate and other areas. We have very high, all 3 of my children are Nacusa graduates, and they have coming from a smaller district where you know people but still have a lot of options, My younger child, my youngest child, we basically had to tell her, stop taking AP classes, you're overloading yourself for various things. And they've been very successful with it. And so we're able to meet students where they're at. But on the average scores, on the low ones, those are things that we need to have systemic work on, and that is our focus.
Okay.
So,
Is
yes.
there a group of shared expectations of what is expected of a child in class as far as behavior goes?
Yes, and those are things that each classroom at the beginning of each year negotiate that with the class of the students.
Does that include sleeping in class and eating a full meal in class?
Well, there certainly are times that a student will drop dead, drop on work. But yes, when stuff comes to, a lot of the question, if we've got, and so eating sounds like there's some specific instances sort of behind that one, but there, generally speak, we have, if people are not getting food, let me just talk about today. Our elementary principal is out today, so I played the role of elementary and I was over there. I was called in to work with a first grader who was struggling and needed a break and whatever else. I happened to I had some, and one of the things that as I was working with him, part of the area is that he needed to get some food in him. I was able to get that. We were able to turn a little bit.
It just seems relatively impolite to do it in front of a group of other students.
So those would be things, if that has happened, food is not allowed in class as a standard thing. If it is done on a regular basis, it is I can't speak as the district level because I can't say what's happened in each particular class, but I can speak for the middle school, specific areas on that. And there are specific, and the policies, and if food is brought in, those are generally policies we'll work with. So that's something we work with. But you're right, eating in front of classes, in the past, I know different teachers have had different levels on that one. I can't give you, for the level of saying how widespread is that, I'm not prepared to have any of those numbers right now in front of me.
I have a number of questions, but I think I've written them down as you've spoke this evening, and I'll forward them to you and Lynn for our next visit.
Yes, and we'd love to hear about those.
Okay, and then you bring some numbers back for us, and that would be helpful for our next discussion.
Yes, and we can sort of layer some discussions in there.
All right, sounds good.
Now, as a second piece, one of the things is that it was mentioned by Mr. Beckstrom, and also Jackie Cole came and visited us a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, and just there was a question just to be able to, because there has been a question before our school board about entry procedures at Humke Elementary. Just as a note on this is that one of the, so just as a start here, we have a new principal at Humke Elementary School. And as she came, the policy that was written that she came and noted is that, let me just back up a little bit. For the past 2 years, it had been the practice at Humke Elementary School to have parents be able, in the morning area before before class would start, to be able to walk their students to their classes, to be able to drop them off, take your stuff in your locker, those various things. Now, as the policy that was written as she came in basically said they can do that for the first 2 weeks, but then it needs to stop. And that actually is close. And so but apparently she did not know that had been the policy for the past 2 years, that was allowed full year. And so there was a lot of parents who were caught off guard, who were saying, wait a minute, what's the change for? That is not a process, and to be honest with you, that is not a practice that is followed anywhere else in the district. And that was one thing, even as a middle school principal, I wasn't aware that practice was in place. And so basically many parents were caught off guard who had gotten used to over a 2-year period. And as my understanding of it, the initial impetus towards that is because we had to lock so much down from the pandemic. Here's a way to be able to have some level to be able to help provide some things that we can do to have a social emotional supports there. Now, as a note, as we were exploring that policy and understanding the widespread of that, our discovery on this one has helped us understand that in public schools in the state of Wisconsin, that's not a practice that's done. I spoke with multiple superintendents. Our principal spoke with multiple principals. We canvassed. And the policies in the state of Wisconsin, now this is for public schools, but in public schools, standard practice is to be able to have parents drop students off at the door and to be able to work with them from there. Now, I will say that we have tried to work with parents as much as possible in case of a student is having maladaptive behaviors, if they're having a bad day, to be able to find somebody that student can connect with. Parents can bring their students into the office and be able to find a way to be able to work with that. And so those are areas that But and in this particular area, this as a security concern is one of the things that we have our recommendation from the Nacusa, our school resource officer, the Nacusa Police Department. Basically, as a security issue, this is one of the reasons why it is widespread in the state of Wisconsin. And so our intent going with our policy as it had been prior to those 2 years was to realign ourselves with what is standard practice for security procedures. It is not to be able to alienate parents, but as understand, and as a note that we've had many parents weigh in on both sides of this issue. Some are very much in support, some are very much not, and we're working to support ways that we can. Last night, our school board met and they voted as unanimous to be able to keep with our policies as they're written, which is to not to be able to have daily walk-up practices, but parents can schedule a meeting with a parent and be able to come and meet with the teacher, but it has to be scheduled through the principal in consultation with the teacher and not as a daily practice. And so we are, in that is we're realigning ourselves to standard practice in Wisconsin, in public schools in the state of Wisconsin is why we made the change. And that's part of the turbulence as we've been seeing in that adjustment to it. So if there's any questions, I'd be glad to entertain on that front. Okay, but
Anybody have
anyways,
any
just
questions?
things that are happening, and again, we're working both sides and that we appreciate the input of all our parents, and we're working to be able to support each one as we can.
All right, thank you very much for the information, and we'll welcome you back again,
Looking forward to it.
likely after the first of the year.
Okay, we'll do.
Have a happy holiday season.
Do the same. Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Moving on, discussion and action, approval of the November 2nd, 2023 meeting minutes.
I'll move approve. As written.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Capel, second by Supervisor Cole for approval of the November 2nd, 2023 meeting minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, discussion and action, checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approved checks number 45795 through 45892 totaling $404,150.21. Auto payments totaling $60,770. State Social Security and Medicare withholdings totaling $37,259.87. Payroll vouchers V 21148, V 21278, totaling $98,842.26. Receipts number 25072 through 25149, totaling $356,650.41.
Move to approve checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Bauerheit, second by Supervisor Capel to approve checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 15, discussion and possible action, approval of recommendation by the Plan Commission regarding consideration of a revised site plan of operation for the Rome Town Center Park, adding recreational amenities, including courts, fencing, trail, portable games, shade structures at the property located at 1159 Climbers Pass, also described as Lot 7 of Alpine Village, with a property identification number of 030-01136-0581.
Madam Chair, I would
Improve.
point out that there was a Plan Commission Administrator report in the packet, and the Plan Commission recommendations were to refer the item to the Town Board with the following suggestions. Await the results of the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, Corp. Discuss with Town Board receiving assistance from MSA with the realignment of the Rome Town Center Park Master Plan. And thirdly, to receive additional input from the community and town board on the plan.
Did you want to present that in the form of a motion?
I would move that we use the points laid out in the administrator's report from the Plan Commission for the future of the park development.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion by Supervisor Capel, second by Supervisor Cole, of the Plan Commission recommendation to refer the item to the town, to await the results of the comprehensive outdoor rec plan, discuss with the town board, receive assistance from MSA for a realignment of the Rome Town Center Park Master Plan, and receive additional input from the community and the town board on future, site plan of operation for the Rome Town Center Park, adding additional recreational amenities, including courts, fencing, trail, portable games, and shade structure at the property.
I'm confused. So I'm reading over the recommendation from the planning, on the site plan of operation, and at the bottom of the finding of facts, it's point number 7, the Town of Rome Planning Commission hereby recommends approval of the revised site plan. But then there was a memo that says, wait, don't do anything till the corp is done.
It wasn't signed. It was presented as
okay.
unsigned.
Unsigned,
And-
got
and
it. Okay,
just
now
to
I'm not confused.
And just to clarify, the plan commission's motion was to deny it at this time, but to make those recommended suggestions that be further considered before
And-
amending the.
I'm less confused now.
And the vote was unanimous among the members that were present.
I'm now less confused. Thank you.
So just, is the Plan Commission Administrator Report, that's not an individual? That's the entire Plan Commission? I'm
That's
just
right.
kind
It's-
of
yeah,
it's
curious, who
drafted by
is the Plan
staff.
Commission Administrator?
Yeah, a zoning report is drafted for every plan commission. I've been drafting it since we don't have a zoning administrator.
Okay.
So this was taken from the motion that happened on Tuesday night, so.
Okay.
The administrator report could also just be referred to as the staff report.
Okay.
I think now that everyone has their
Gotcha.
cards on the table, we can move forward after the corp planning comes through next year, revise the plan as necessary, and then represent it.
Okay, I
So-
understand.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, discussion only, review of the band shell pavilion finishing, including recap of the outstanding construction items and invoices.
Both myself and Supervisor Barheit had a brief memo in the packet, just outlining the total construction cost for the band shell. There was a spreadsheet that was broken down both by contractor and contract that they had received. Then with any change orders and payments, we do have one change order that's coming up on the agenda. But total cost as awarded bids for the band shell was $360,502. And with change orders and credits, total cost $364,640. We do still have that one outstanding change order and some minor invoices that need to be handled, but Melissa has this spreadsheet. One of those invoices actually came in today, so there would only be, if approved, the outstanding change order left on the band shell. And then I don't know if Supervisor Barheit just wants to speak to the memo that he had in the packet.
Yeah, Brad Martinson and I conducted a survey of the completed band shell and developed a punch list, which we then presented to Eagle Construction. Shortly after we presented that to them, they had their construction detailer come by the site. They corrected all the problems immediately. They were basically painting issues where there was paint missing here and there, and caulking issues. It was then agreed that all the items were cleared except for caulking between the stone veneer and the cement floor by the fireplace. And so on all three of those locations, it was agreed that those items would be postponed for caulking until the spring, giving all elements a chance to settle more. So other than that, we look at it as complete.
So does the, let me just read this again, I'm sorry, I'll think. I have a question here. Does anybody have any questions? No? I think I answered my own question, I'm good. Everybody good?
I don't believe we need to take an action on this.
Nope, just discussion. Number 17, discussion and possible action. Review change proposals regarding new Rome Town Center Band Shell Pavilion project for the following items: Eagle Construction change proposal, stone sills at roll-up doors, cost increase, including updated spreadsheet of all revenues and expenditures for the Band Shell Pavilion project.
This item would require a motion. I didn't know if you wanted me to wait till a motion was made.
Yep.
Move to approve the change order regarding the installation of stone sills on the band shell.
I'll second.
I would just add, so there was a memo in the packet. It would be our 5th approved change order from Eagle, but 7th presented. It is for $1,320. The window sills weren't weather resistant. Eagle identified that and had it ordered enough stone that would be the same as our other stone around the building, so it would match well. The only other item I just want to point out with this is there is the overall chart. I know you guys had seen this once before. This would be an updated chart of where we are with the overall Rome Town Center project. This is from start, so this is the trees coming down, the well going in, the electric, the band shell, the concrete work, where we are to date. It does reflect the future cost of the $94,000, which is what's in the parks budget next year. That's your committed grants that are coming in for the Rome Town Center project. Your $25,000 from Legacy, your $25,000 from Visit Rome, and your $40,000 from the WEDC. And then the remaining funds to get the 107 that would still be available towards that project, those funds are held in tourism because you've allocated $105,000 through prior budgets in tourism. That money doesn't change to parks. You may recall in previous years we've just shortfalled the parks budget because it's all in general. But those funds, the difference between the 107 and the 94 is housed in the tourism 30% funds.
Okay, so we had a motion by Supervisor Capel, second by Supervisor Cole.
No,
Oh, sorry, did I reverse that?
Supervisor Minter and
Oh, I'm
Supervisor
sorry.
Capel, seconded.
Okay, Supervisor Minter, Supervisor Capel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 18, discussion and possible action, approval of updates to the part-time administrative assistant position. I'll move to approve the updates to the part-time administrative assistant position description.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Chairwoman Jamadi, second by Supervisor Bauerheit to update the part-time administrative assistant position description. So everyone knows this is actually, at this point in time, Linda Ewer's position. Jamie, if you want to just describe why these changes were updated.
The items that are crossed off aren't relevant anymore. We don't track the fuel usage because when we switch to Quick Trip, they handle that for us. Coordinating the town Firewise mailing, we don't do an individual mailing because we moved to townwide. And then that municipal court piece, that's just not how we do the debt collection anymore. So those items were removed because they aren't duties that are occurring anymore. And transcription machine is because I don't even know where you get a transcription.
Or how you would even use one, right?
That's what, I think it should be ChatGDP would be really.
it's right next to your fax machine.
Yeah.
I noticed one, I think it's a omission of a striking, under essential responsibilities and duties. If you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs, when working for the clerk treasurer or deputy clerk treasurer, we're up above, didn't we
Yeah.
cross off deputy clerk treasurer
Good catch.
as a
Thank you.
reporting person?
I'll amend my motion to, or do you need it amended to make that correction, or can we just have her fix that?
As long as your motion second is willing to amend that, I probably would amend it because you're not accepting it exactly
Okay.
as presented, but as amended.
All right, then I'll amend my motion to include the correction to the paragraph under essential duties and responsibilities to deputy clerk treasurer.
I might ask, what is a folding machine? Is that something?
When you put the,
I'm sorry,
put
is
the
it something for the
letters-
laundry?
no, when you put the letters in, it folds them. Folds them, and it's very loud.
What does
but
it do?
It folds letters. So you can
You can't
put
fold
in,
your own, oh, okay.
if you put in like
Have
a
5,000,
Okay,
makes a
I
difference.
gotcha.
yeah.
Try 5,000 Firewise
Yeah.
letters or
Yeah.
newsletters.
That's what this is for.
We also
follow
have a
my
letter
second.
slitter that comes in really handy at
What did
tax.
you say, Bob?
I'll follow along with my second.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Bob. All right, motion and first and second are amended. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 19, approval of the use of ARPA funds for the public mural design and installation project.
The motion that is part of the memo tonight would be for $1,000 of ARPA funds. If the motion could include the dollar amount, that's appreciated.
Ooh.
And this would take our remaining ARPA funds down to $5,421.85. And we have used ARPA for other contributory items.
I'll second, and then I have a question for
I didn't,
discussion.
no one made a motion
Oh, I
yet.
thought you did.
No, I was just saying that,
You did. I'm
I'll
sorry.
move to approve $1,000 of ARPA funds be designated for the painting of the mural on the Public Works building.
now you can make your
I'll
second.
still second it.
All right, so we have a motion.
Question.
All right, we have a motion by Supervisor Minter, second by Supervisor Capel to use $1,000 of ARPA funds for the public mural design and installation project.
My question is why, on the next item, we're asking for $2,800 from the community, or $1,000 from community donation? Why don't we just take it all out of community donations since the balance is so high?
Well,
Well, we also previously voted on this to make sure that all the funding for the mural came from donations, or with the exception of $5,000, I think, from the CDA budget. So I think you're right. They all should come out of the CAN fund if we need more money.
I think we voted that they not be levy funds.
that's correct.
Well, these are
So
not levy
neither of
funds,
these
that's
are
why I'm
levy
asking the question.
Right.
And I think there was just a,
Neither is, but why take anything away from ARPA, which we have no use for, or may have a use for, when we have we have $16,000 balance in the, do we not? Isn't that, am I reading this
we
correctly?
project to end this year at 16,000, yes.
With $16,000, why wouldn't we just take both $2,000 out of that account and leave ARPA alone?
We're always, careful might be a strong word with the CAN fund, just because it's, depending on the cost of aluminum, how it goes, but it has a nice balance.
It
but
has a very nice balance. And so, I just bring it up for discussion.
That's fine. That's why we've got them on here for either fund, how you felt about it.
I'd like to leave the ARPA funds where they are, because there may be a need for those funds as we go forward for some of the other things that we're planning to do next year for
Could, a need
studies and
that
things.
comes up,
Yeah, and I would really strongly recommend we just use $2,000 out of the CAN fund.
I'm agreeing.
What was the motion on the
The
table?
motion was to approve.
Okay.
So we have to
Supervisor
vote
Minter,
on
you
it
make?
and then move to the next one, right?
Yeah, but
They
I
could
just want
withdraw
to
their
get
motion.
something
Oh,
straight in
withdraw
my
it.
mind. So with what's presented here, we were talking 1,000 from ARPA and 1,000 from the CAN fund.
Correct.
Or alternate idea is nothing from ARPA, 2,000 from the CAN fund.
Right, which you can raise the amount on the next,
Right,
yeah.
okay. I just wanted to make sure
yes, okay.
that I had the dollar amounts straight in my mind.
You
Or
have
it
it,
could be
sure.
more out of the CAN fund, but we didn't wanna
Oh.
overextend ourselves either, cause other needs come up in the community.
Gotcha.
But we're at the year's end, so.
Yeah, and that fund does carry forward. The funds stay
Right.
Right.
within that, whatever we make from the.
I mean,
I
I
understand.
agree with Supervisor Keppel, it may make more sense to, because this is a public beautification and community service project, to take the funds out of the CAN fund, leave ARPA alone.
Do you wanna withdraw your motions then, and
No,
we'll
let's
move
just
on?
vote on the motion.
Let's vote on it.
We'll vote on
Alright.
the motion and
Okay,
we'll go from there.
Vote on.
all right, so, all in favor?
No?
No.
No?
No.
Actually, what we said,
Deny,
guys,
no.
jeez, Would have been easier to withdraw, you guys, but okay.
Hey, every once in a while, we have to turn a motion down.
I know, that sounds fine to me.
So
All righty then.
colorful.
Moving on. 19, discussion and possible action. Approval use of 20, discussion and possible action. Request for funds from the community donations account for the public mural design and installation project. Now, you're up.
I move that we
Okay.
take $2,000 out of the community donations fund for the cans to support public mural and design.
Thank you.
I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you. So we have a motion from Supervisor Bauerheit to take $2,000 of funds from the community donations account for the public mural design and installation project, and a second from Supervisor Capel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. All right, 21, the board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub C, considering employment promotion compensation for performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Clerk Treasurer, 3-month preliminary review. Need a motion?
I move that we go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85, sub 1, sub C, for purposes of the 3-month preliminary review of the clerk treasurer.
Okay. We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub C, for review of the clerk treasurer 3-month preliminary review. Right. Motion, roll call vote from my left, please.
Capel, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jumati, yes.
Oh, yes.
Barheit, no.
Ready? We're going into closed session.
We will again exit and go into the other room. Again, one more friendly reminder, mics stay on and camera stays live in this room.
I don't know if I should stay. I don't know. Nick, do we go into
Probably first, maybe just for a moment.
Stay there?
Section president.
All right, glad to meet you.
Yeah.
Are you guys
Terry and I
Oh,
and Craig
you have
and
your-
you,
Huh? I do, here, all right.
Put on my desk. Really, but then COVID got in the way. We gotta start the 4 of us.
Yeah.
How long
We
are you
get together
gonna
again.
be?
I'm starting to make
I need to take a nap.
regular, starting to branch out on that network.
have my-
So I
Cool,
appreciate
cool,
it.
so I'm glad to see you. I was in class last semester with Lynn, but then I
been here
changed
for
schools.
12 hours.
So,
Well, nature of it. but-
yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a
You
nap.
know, we'll have to try to get together, so.
Looking forward to that.
See if we
Thank
can get
you.
the 4 of us.
I won't sleep tonight if I do that.
Oh.
I met there with Jim Bina,
Oh, you did?
and
Okay.
I highly recommend it. so.
Yeah, he's got some kids at our school. So.
All right,
Cool. Good
One-
to meet you.
thank you. All right. Well, I'm happy to stay at the better end, but the last one was a long haul, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Lynn has a 1-hour drive, so she just went, but
Holy cow.
Oh, does she really?
she lives in Stevens Point, so.
Oh.
Wow, and this time of year with the deer and everything, it's kinda
Right.
scary.
So I don't have an agenda. What more business remains to do after they return?
This is it.
This is it, okay.
Just my review and that's it.
Then they
Okay.
have
Go
to
over the
just-
next agenda items and dates and that's it.
Yep.
Just sort of wrap up, so, okay.
They're all done.
I will, maybe I'll just, if I need to, maybe I'll catch the feed, so.
Okay, sounds great. And I'm sure Lori, Chair Jumati will be in touch about
Yeah, looking forward to it.
inviting you guys back after the first of the year.
Wonderful, that'll be great.
Okay?
Okay,
Great
thanks so much.
having you here.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
They won't be long, right?
I hope not. I mean, it's about me, so I hope there's not a lot to say. If there's a lot to say, I hope it's all kind.
Are your ears burning?
Yeah, I'm alright. You gotta have thick skin in this job.
Yeah. Yep. You've been here 3 months already. nice, eh?
It was funny because Supervisor Mentor and I were talking about a month ago. He goes, "Yeah, well, you know, something about me being here 6 months." I'm like, 6 months? I've been here 2 months. We're getting ready to take the time. I get called into closed session, otherwise I will forget. Are you drinking coffee?
No.
Oh, good.
No. That part's over.
Yeah, I have to cut that off about 11.
I can't do it.
You're so close.
I know.
Anything real exciting happens, I'll give you an update.
Okay, good.
By the way, I really appreciated your questions yesterday, or the other day.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I ask a lot of them, a lot of people,
Well,
yeah.
Good ones too, though.
It's refreshing to have questions asked after somebody actually reads and does some driving around and stuff, so.
Yeah, I've got pictures on my phone and, yep. No, it's my job. Thank you.
Take care. I'm the only one that wants to know.
What?
I'm the only one that wants to know.
What, if they let me go or not? It just feels later than,
It really does.
I mean, we've been here till 9 o'clock before.
In the summertime, it ain't so bad, 'cause it's still light out.
Mm-hmm. Now we shouldn't have another board meeting until,
2 weeks.
yeah, at least, yeah.
Where's the, plan commission, does that fall into the holiday where they're not meeting, or
I don't know, I don't follow that much. And those are during the day, right?
for,
4?
yeah.
I haven't been, tonight was my first plan commission meeting. I thought they only met though, like when there's something on the agenda, right? They're like, they don't just meet regularly. I thought they only met when business came up.
I think it's, what is it, second Tuesday of the month?
Oh, okay, so it is a set, even if there's nothing.
Yeah, 'cause it's second Tuesday of the month, and it's second Thursday is board, and then third, no. I get them all screwed up.
And I don't know how these people that are, well, they're not full-time employees either, but how they come to all these board meetings, but then most of them are retired, so. But Jamie, I mean, you know, she goes to all of them and,
Mhm. Do you live in town here?
I live over by the Lure. I live right across the street from
I don't know anybody.
work. Well, they wanna put up that duplex and they wanna do 0 lot lines, or 0, you know where that one is? Yeah, I'm right across the street from the empty lot, yeah.
So you'll be living in one of them little houses on the golf course?
Hmm?
You'll be living in one of them little houses on the golf course?
Me? Heck no. I like my little tiny basic house, very tiny house. I can barely keep up with the maintenance on it now. I don't know how I would do a bigger house.
I got a little house too. Got a just slight over 1,000 square feet, that's it.
Mine's just under 900, I believe. I'm not sure.
And it's plenty.
With a basement, but that saves me. So, but yeah, I'm trying to keep up with all the maintenance and stuff. Took me 3 years to get my house painted. Bought the paint and never worked out. It was either gone or it was raining or the pollen or finally got that done in October. I've been needed to clean my chimney and my wood stove since spring and I haven't even got that done yet. Just too much to do. They have that much to talk about me. I suppose I should review my. careful driving home and watching for deer, I suppose, out where you go.
Oh, yeah. Take her slow.
I know, I just got this,
I look at old person.
this different car now, and it goes so slow, and I'm so careful with the deer when I drive at night.
I think I hit one the other day, I'm coming back here to the other board meeting, just nicked her.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah, stopped on Alpine Road. Just enough to break the mounts on the light. You know,
Oh, really?
Just enough to spend another $500 in a light.
We had a Lumina, I believe, a Chevy Lumina. And between my son-in-law, my son, my daughter and I, well, my son didn't, my son-in-law, my daughter and I, we hit 3 deer. My daughter hit a turkey. And,
Turkeys do a lot of damage.
but that car, the way it was shaped, all we ever had to do was replace headlights. And, you know, I mean, and we had a different one from when my daughter, she had a Lumina before that, and we kept it at Hoffman's, and we just kept pulling parts off that, and when they didn't have them anymore, we had to buy some, but, I mean, it just, the design of it, they always seem to bounce off, or they never, you know.
Scoops them over the top. huh?
Yeah, and then we gave it to my nephew, and he drove it for quite a while. I mean, that thing had a lot of miles on it. He drove it for a while and finally totaled it out with a deer. So yeah, that thing hit 4 deer in the time we hit.
I only hit 2 deer in my lifetime. My son hits them all the time. He's always dicking around on his phone, he's going 65 miles an hour in the dark.
Yeah, I hit one when I still had my temps back in high school. One of my first times driving with my mom, but we lived way out in the country.
Mhm.
And then my other Blazer before the one I just, you know, that I was driving, I barely had that thing, and one right down here on Alpine, it did some pretty good damage, and the door was never the same even after they fixed it. I'm gonna try to think of those, and then I hit one down on Z with that Lumina, drove all the way home from the Missouri-Arkansas border, all the way home, and hit a deer
Right in town.
just right down in Monroe Center.
You were born and raised here?
No, I was raised over in the, you probably never heard of it, Boyceville. Then I was there when I was real young. My family's from Boyceville, Boyceville, Connersville area, and then we moved to Elk Mound for my junior high, senior year. But that's kind of over by Menominee, Eau Claire.
Okay.
So Boyceville is like north, what would that be, northwest of Menominee?
Okay.
Real small town. Real
What's
small.
down here?
What?
What drains you down here?
My my ex-husband was in the service, and so we moved out to the West Coast. We were in California, we were in Washington State, and then when we got out of the service, my parents had moved here. They were actually like neighbors by where Mark Kane is now, because my dad found Lake Petenwell. He really liked Lake Petenwell, so they were here when he got out of the service. So we came here just have a place to, you know, start again, and then they all moved away, and I'm here. Well, my parents passed away, but everyone moved away, and I mean, they were here for quite a while, but they divorced and then moved away. But I love it here, so love Lake Petenwell.
Flipped a boat out in, Fox Lake? No, Winnebago. Flipped a boat out there in the middle and sat out there for 4 hours.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, hanging on to the ribs at the bottom of the boat.
Oh my goodness!
So ever since that, if I can't see the shore, I have no use for boats whatsoever.
Yeah, and Petenwell, it can be bad.
Yeah, well, as soon as you can't, I mean, sitting in the bays and stuff, that's all fine.
Yeah.
And the river channel is okay, but open water is just, I'm not comfortable
Yeah.
with open water.
I've been out there on, I got a ski boat, but it's gonna have lower sides on it, and I won't take it out on a windy day. I've got caught in storms out there where we had to bail out of the boat, and the waves were just coming over the side of the boat and it was filling up with water, and the pump couldn't pump it quick enough, and
Yep.
we had water around up to our ankles in the boat, and trying to come back across.
That's not
and-
fun, that is not fun.
Good story, but yeah, it was a little scary at the time. We got back to the lure, took the plug out, went into the lure and ate in there for an hour or whatever, came back out, and there was still water coming out of the drain plug.
No, see, that still sound like fun.
Yeah. I love that lake though, it's an adventure.
I got about 8.5 or 9 acre lake that I live on.
Oh,
on
really?
Property, private, it's just mine,
Oh, nice.
yeah, so, take kayaks, I mean, I like kayaking
Yeah.
and stuff, but
So what kind of boat were you in out on Winnebago?
honestly, it was young, I was only like 15, I think, and, went with a guy that had the boat, it was just a little 16-footer,
That's what mine is, little 16
little
footer.
16-foot aluminum, and
Oh, mine's, yeah, okay.
we went out after a storm, and it was really nice, and there was a back storm that came through, and we couldn't get to the island in time. It was all of a sudden just
Yep.
straight up and straight down and wet.
Yep.
And it was what, Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend? Labor Day weekend, I think. Isn't that where everybody goes downriver and goes to brunch and stuff? It's Labor Day, right?
Oof, I don't know.
It was warm, but it wasn't cold out. Memorial Day is cold, ain't it?
Usually Memorial Day, it depends. The water's usually colder, but the
Well, yeah, we sat
temperatures.
out there and you could yell and everybody just thought you were catching a fish. You know, walleye fishing out there, and only one boat was bold enough to finally stand up on the bottom of that boat and start waving, you know, a rag at it. Finally they came. There's 3 of us. One guy never fished a day in his life, an Indian guy, like East Indian guy. And he will never go out there again.
Yeah. I heard that they went out on a search and rescue today.
Yeah, they found both of them, but.
Okay,
they're
or
fine.
no?
Yeah, they were both fine.
They were?
Yeah, they were just, Mark was saying they were just down by the dam, farther down the way.
And they were
So-
stranded?
That's all I knew. He said it was kinda sketchy, he didn't have it all, but they were both fine. I don't know if they
Good.
just got too close to the dam, got sucked into the dam or something, but it still got pulled over, it got pulled into the side far enough
Oh,
or not.
that's what scares me, like,
Yeah, especially kayaks and stuff, you know. I mean,
yeah, like
it's-
even my boat, like going down near the Nacita Dam on Petenwell, it gets so eerie down there, and I just, you know, you just don't know. Your boat could break down.
Yeah,
you
the motor
just-
cuts out on you, follow a plug or something.
Yeah,
Take
I-
you 15 minutes, change that, by then it's usually too late.
yeah. I don't get very close to that at all. It's just such an eerie feeling down there.
You know, like on Kingsway where they got that funnel dam there,
Yeah,
where it funnels and it comes down on it.
into
I just-
Sherwood.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, there must be some screening or something on that, or caging, but I don't know if there's enough that, I mean, if a kid was in a kayak or something went there, that would suck them right into there, I would think,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Maybe not pull them through it, but it'd pull them underwater, or you
Yeah.
would be able to get back out again.
yeah.
But, I don't know. Well, I guess that's the same thing they got on 15 too, it's the same funnel style, drop-off style, but
Mm-hmm.
I always have to laugh, cause I've been here I've been doing this since 2013 here. I still don't know which lake is which.
Oh, really?
People are like, I'm over Sherwood, I'm like, okay.
See, I won't go on those anymore because I used to, like, we'd do it like during the weekday, like in the evenings or on Sunday afternoon. But never on a weekend anymore.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just too crowded.
Yeah, it's like even on Petenwell, people go down to Petenwell all the time, and they go over that sandbar and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's always gotta be that one guy that just comes ripping through there at 100 miles an hour, it's like, man, it's like, how do you not people get killed out here all the time?
I know,
This doesn't even look relaxing to me.
you know, and the different boats that you see, like you sit on that island and watch the different,
Yeah.
like you'll see houseboats, you'll see the big Bajas and,
Yep.
you know, everything. Just so many different things. And it's getting a lot more, there's a lot more people that go to Petenwell now.
Especially, I don't know what it's called, it's where they all go running down that Sand Coast?
Ben,
Cause me and Louise took the kayaks, we got pretty adventurous one time, and we came out of Nakusa, and we took it all the way
Banks.
down, all the way to Romanos, that was
Yellowbanks.
that,
Yellowbanks?
is that what it's called?
I
have no
believe
idea.
so.
We were just, cause we were in kayaks, you sit and watch these kids do it for
Yeah.
35
And you
minutes,
know,
and
when you
you're
get to the bottom of that, it drops deep.
Yep, the
'cause
water's really deep right there.
We
isn't
pulled
it?
the boats up there once and you couldn't,
Yeah.
it drops right off. Yeah, I think that's the Yellowbanks.
Yeah, to come running down that sand hill and just go diving into the water.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that looks like
Yeah.
fun. I could do it once before I had a stroke, but
I'm not a big fan of upriver up there, cause we were pulling somebody water skiing up there once and I saw a snake swim across and I'm like, yeah, no.
yeah, it's just garter snakes and stuff. We don't got poisonous snakes.
I don't know, I used to play with snakes when I was younger, when I was a kid, no problem. Now I don't know what it is, I just can't handle snakes.
It's alright.
Even if I run one over with my car, I'm afraid to get out of my car later, you know?
Like it jumped in there, it's waiting for you now.
It might be stuck under the vehicle. I don't know whatever changed that, I don't know.
The only thing that's prominent here that I've never seen is badgers. You ever see badgers?
I don't know, I see some things and I don't know if I would know what they were.
In a lot of those little holes you see inside of the ditch lines, I know badgers are doing that. We have a lot of badgers in this area, I just never see them. What are pretty nocturnal.
What, I don't have to go back? I don't go back? Oh, I thought I had to.
No, because you didn't fill out the form, we're gonna delay it to another
All
meeting.
curiosities.
She said you didn't fill it out.
Yeah, well, you know
Or
what happens
form.
to cats.
We're gonna do it another meeting.
If you wanna tell me your
I'm
name.
sorry, Dan Hanson, building inspector.
Oh, you are Dan Hanson,
Yes.
now that I
Yep,
see
they
you,
did
I'm
turn
like,
it.
you were here all the time. Like, okay, now I get it. Sorry about that, I have met you and I should have known that, you're just like,
Well, I don't know that we ever physically talk, we can see each
maybe
other
not,
from
yeah,
here,
from a
but-
distance.
We're gonna meet
and I'm
another
like, who's that guy that's coming all these all of a sudden? I know why.
Stop stopping at this table and bring it in. I don't know, I've had 3 cookies and 2.
Where are the cookies from, Chairwoman?
Walmart.
They're pretty.
Walmart, that was the best my hubby could find at the, we went all over and then I finally gave up, so he went to Walmart because he had to get kitty stuff and. So. I gotta find my agenda here. So the board reserves the right to enter into open session authorized by Wisconsin Stat Section 19.85 Sub 2 to possibly take action from the closed session and continue with the agenda. Dates and items for future agenda.
Well,
Oh,
I'll
I'm
move-
sorry, yes, we need a motion.
I'll move that we go back into open session pursuant to Wisconsin statute, section 1985, subparagraph 2.
Second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Capel, a second by Supervisor Minter. Roll call vote starting from my left.
Capel, yes.
Minter, yes.
Jamadi, yes.
Oh, yes.
Bauer Height, we need a vote.
I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you. Back in open session. We will continue with the review at another meeting. Dates and items for future agenda meetings. Next agenda items, Bill Zener I'll be talking with him as an update for final steps for strategic planning. Sam Schultz, Rome's Land Use and Development Advisor for the Rome Town Center. Jeff Sanders, update on the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan steps. These aren't necessarily all on the next agenda. MSA, assistance with the realignment of the Rome Town Center Park Plan.
I would ask that
Plan, and
if we start talking about MSA, that we get a firm price quote for them for whatever they might do, because last time we had them, they turned out to be very, very expensive. And when we needed their help the most, they referred us to, I think it was Eagle Construction or somebody else they kind of backed out of it, and it was not what we were looking for.
We can do that. And Student Youth Government Council, we'll get some more information on that. Anybody else? Oh, and I'm sorry, I have another one. We'll get a debrief and recap of the HR audit report from Von Briesen and Roper, as well as recommendations for the best practices and updates to the employee and policy manuals with an anticipated timeline for completion of those documents, because we've got to get that done as well, which would include our employee vacation policy, because we have new hires coming up here, so, as well, so. Yes, did somebody, I hear
I
some
was thinking
rumblings down
of
here.
the
Yeah.
time of the season, and I was thinking that we should have our Public Works Director come in and review the snow and ice control
Yes,
policies and procedures.
sounds good.
If nothing else, to educate anybody new in town of how we handle things.
Just wording, the student youth group government will be representative. That's something that I've been exploring with Nathan Black, and what I'm exploring is the concept of involving our youth more in government. And so what we're looking at is potentially having a student sit on our board.
And I would like to explain,
So
yeah,
it's nothing, I mean, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And they have proposals on how this would function, and the board would have to approve it, look at it, select the person. It's not just, easy, but that's what that agenda item is all about.
yeah. And there was some ideas too. The county has some, the Rapids has done some, and I'm thinking it might even be fun if we explore it, see what they have. I looked at the document you had forwarded. We can share it with the town board. But they have a council up there, and maybe we have representatives from more than one school district, because we have kids going to a number of different school districts, so we can have several students and maybe not just sitting on the board, because they can help us with special projects like park development, disc golf, especially since the school owns the field, so there's a lot of opportunities there. I think it's a great idea.
We can get into that, but when we met, we discussed all of that, and it would be two separate functions. It would be like the board representative and then student advisory or council for
Yeah.
other tasks.
Yeah.
And the reason it was just Nakusa is to help build community pride in Nakusa School District students, which unfortunately some of them apparently don't have pride in their community. And so it's just a way of inviting them into Rome, getting them involved so that they can build their spirit and pride in their community.
Anybody else?
I had, oops, go ahead.
I had just written down the follow-up to the clerk treasurer review.
Oh, the quick trip review?
Clerk treasurer.
Clerk treasurer review.
Yeah, the follow-up to it.
And I would have the annual Visit Rome report. That's required by our agreement with Visit Rome that they present in the month of December, their annual report. You would have your 2024 wages and per diems for town staff, volunteer firefighters, and committee members. That's just codifying that in a resolution, what's already been approved in the budget. Your resolution regarding fees for 2023, the department heads received the list from previous years. They'll make any updates and share those with Melissa, and that's done by resolution annually. And then every 2 years, we need to appoint our election workers, our poll workers, and so that
Yep.
resolution would be in December.
Thank you. Good reminder. Thank you, because Bill had asked me about that, and I had wanted to mention it to the clerk treasurer, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Do we need a Bird City resolution, or is it too early for that?
That's usually in January.
January.
Okay.
So, and then, let's see here. And then, just wanted to make a note.
Talking about January?
Nope, December. We got one more month.
One more, okay.
Yeah, and then you're off for 2. And then I just wanted to share on a lighter note. I challenged my friends the other evening. I'm going to donate $100 to, it's not much, but it helps, to the mural project. And I challenged my friend, Diana. She gave $100, and then Bill upped the ante for $200. So $400 to the mural project.
So I'm in the process of,
But wait, there's more.
oh, there's more, okay.
So I was hoping we'll have the clerk treasurer look into setting up a special account maybe in the general fund that's called underneath CDA beautification that's just Friends of Public Art. We'll actually call it that or something else. I know you said there was a group that if people want to make donations, we'll put these funds like this in that specific account revenue line, that it can go to public art. But for right now, the mural, because I don't know where you're putting the mural donations.
Right now, they're in miscellaneous revenues in the general fund,
So how do we know that it's going to the mural?
because it's noted when it's deposited that it's a mural donation.
Thank you.
So Melissa gave me the list of who donated and their addresses, and Visit Rome.
Oh, you
They're
got 'em.
Paid for some little thank you notes that I'll be handwriting and sending out to these people with a, thing about it. So if you want to have your name noted, you can. If you wanna be anonymous, you can. Some are. And then I have just a little note card for everybody that also we had printed up. These are just plain note cards.
You did get them. Awesome. I like
Scott
them.
was in this week, and Kiva designed it, and so I'll give each of you a little note card, it's blank. It's something Visit Rome has, we're toying with the idea of putting them on our website that you could buy these, it just says little packet note cards, and maybe the funds then could go to the rail project. So Visit Rome paid for those.
You should have them at the Winters Farmers Markets. through the winter.
She only ordered 50 of each of them, just because we didn't know what the quality of the printing would be, but they came back really nice, so maybe we'll get some more.
Did you say we could each have one of these?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
thank you.
And also, I should announce too, because I keep forgetting, you can still go out on Kiba's website, Kiba Freeman Art, and order a sweatshirt with this design on here. And the money, a portion of the funds will go
Everybody in the room.
towards the project. So, do I give this to you, Jackie?
You
Whoever
can
will
give the
take
money
it?
to Melissa.
Melissa, and then she'll update the donation sheet, and then someday when I sit down, I'll send you a thank you note.
Don't need one, thank you.
Would you like a blank one? You can use
No,
it
but
for
he
something
didn't, you
else.
didn't put his little picture, but you put a story on here, huh?
There is a story in the inside.
Cool.
Lisa designed those.
Yeah, he did, the P and G worked out better, huh? Than the, thank you.
Yeah,
All
no,
right
you-
then.
This is the largest mural that he has done to date.
Yes,
The town
it
of
is.
Rome is his largest.
So,
Very nice.
anything else? Otherwise, the meeting is adjourned, and this is Jamie's last meeting, and thank you.
Thank you.
Best wishes.
Meeting adjourned 7:45.